War is not beautiful. People die. Young children, women, innocent citizens who did nothing but trust the leaders of their countries. And sometimes soldiers from nations thousands of miles away die for a war they never chose. Right now, as you're watching this, a rapidly escalating conflict involving Israel and Iran, with the United States increasingly drawn in, continues to reshape global geopolitics. It first erupted in June 2025, it paused briefly, and then in February 2026, it escalated again. Bigger, more dangerous, and more consequential than most people realize. Because every war carries a cost, and this war isn't just damaging military infrastructure across the Middle East, it's threatening the very systems that power the global economy. Energy. Think about that for a second. The Middle East has been the world's gas station for decades. But now refineries are being attacked, supply routes are under threat, and the most critical oil corridor on Earth, the Strait of Hormuz, is increasingly unstable. Nearly 20% of the world's oil supply passes through that narrow waterway. When that corridor is threatened, oil prices don't just rise, they surge. And when the world's primary energy hub becomes unstable, the global economy starts looking for alternatives. That's where Africa enters the story. This conflict may be over 10,000 kilometers away, but for the first time in decades, Africa is not just collateral damage from global crises. It could be one of the biggest beneficiaries. Africa's major oil exporters, Nigeria, Libya, Angola, Algeria, and Egypt, stand to gain significantly from rising prices. Take Nigeria, for example. The country exports roughly 1.3 to 1.6 million barrels of oil per day, and its fiscal planning often assumes oil prices around $60 per barrel range. But with global prices already above $100, every extra dollar translates into billions in additional revenue. And this time, Africa isn't just exporting crude, it's refining it. The Dangote refinery, the largest single-train refinery in the world, has the capacity to meet 100% of Nigeria's domestic fuel needs across all refined products, with significant surplus capacity for exports. That means the remaining capacity can be exported, and it already is. The refinery has begun exporting gasoline to the United States and jet fuel to Europe, while Nigeria's dependence on imported fuel has dropped dramatically. For decades, Europe refined fuel and sold it to Africa. Now the script is flipping. Europe is beginning to buy refined fuel from Africa, and Nigeria isn't alone. Countries like Angola, Uganda, Zambia, and South Africa are all expanding refining capacity. But the story isn't entirely one-sided. Oil importing African countries will feel the pain of higher global fuel prices. Yet oil exporters and refining hubs could experience a historic windfall. For once, Africa is not just being described as emerging, developing, or a charity case. Instead, Africa is becoming something the world can't ignore. An alternative. The energy alternative the world never planned for, but may suddenly need. But here's the critical question. Will Africa finally capture the full value of what it produces? Because even with the Dangote refinery and several new projects underway, Africa still imports more refined fuel than it exports. And unless infrastructure, pipelines, and storage systems and regional energy trade improve, that imbalance could continue. This war is a wake-up call. It exposes just how fragile the global energy system really is. It shows that the so-called stable suppliers can disappear overnight. And it reminds the world that Africa, if it invests in infrastructure, refining, and regional cooperation, could become a cornerstone of global energy security. But only if the continent moves quickly. Because the war in the Middle East isn't just geopolitics. For Africa, it's economics. Did you know that Africa's oil exporting countries like Nigeria, Angola, and Libya could earn billions in additional revenue if oil prices remain elevated? Tag someone who needs to understand how this conflict could reshape Africa's role in global energy markets. I'm Ayo Akindele, and I believe in Africa.